Okay, so on the board we have the formula for writing an essay. This formula would help you to achieve two things. One, it will help you to structure your essay. Two, it will also help you to write the essay following the standard template of IELTS. Right? So let's understand that this particular formula has its basis on P1 to P4. So each P represents paragraph. So by implication, how many paragraphs are you going to write? You're expected to have 4 paragraphs in your essay. Please do not write more than 4. Do not write less than 4. Just build a very strong 4 paragraphs. Now, the first paragraph, which is P1, is a highly important paragraph.
So what's in 1 and 2? You're supposed to have 4 paragraphs.
Yes, please. So your paragraph 1 is a highly important paragraph in essay writing. I call it the engine house of your essay, because from your first paragraph, an examiner can predict the quality of your intelligence and also foretell what the other part of the essay will look like from this paragraph alone. So your paragraph 1 is the blueprint of your essay. It is the roadmap of your essay. It is the fulcrum and engine house of your essay. In paragraph 1, you're meant to have 3 major features. You're to have 3 major features in your essay. The first one is the paraphrase. You're supposed to have a paraphrase. And this paraphrase means copying the question from the question paper onto your answer sheet as the beginning of your first paragraph. Do you understand this? Your first paragraph should begin with you copying the question from the question paper onto your answer sheet, but not verbatim, rather in a rephrased way. Do you understand this? Now, when you paraphrase, the next thing is to plan your essay so that you can make what we call the thesis or background statement. Now, how do you make the thesis or background statement? This is actually the statement you make in writing that confirms or indicates to the examiner marking your script about what your plan or what your essay would look like. It is a statement you make that shows what you have planned to do in the essay. I always tell clients, thesis background statement is pretty synonymous with manifesto. You know what manifesto is? More like your vision or mission statement, right? Your vision or mission statement. Most politicians will always give what we call manifesto, right? When they mount podium before the mammoth crowd, they are telling them, making promises of what they will do if they are eventually elected into office, right? In IELTS, you are to give the statement to show or give a hint or clue to the examiner that in this essay, this is what I'm going to be doing. What prompts your thesis or background statement? It is the plan you have already drafted out on your question paper as rough work. That's what helps you to make a clear statement. The plan you have drafted on your question paper as rough work is what helps you to make a clear background statement. If a question says, Some persons prefer to travel to their destinations by road, whereas others feel it is best to travel by air. Discuss both sides of this argument and give your own opinion. This is how an IELTS question comes. Now, since you are compelled or bound by the question or instruction to discuss both sides, your background statement must confirm that in this essay, I will be writing to vividly highlight and confirm the validity of each of the points stated above, or each of the arguments above. Or in this essay, I'll be writing to clearly discuss the issues or arguments above. Because the question, whatever paraphrase you have written is the question. So whatever thing you write after the paraphrase, you are referring to above, which is what you have copied as the question, right?
There was a statement you made before I said, give an example. What was that?
I said, your thesis background statement gives the examiner the clue or insight or idea of what your background would look like or what you have planned to do. And what prompts your thesis or background statement is the plan you have made on your question paper as rough work. That plan of yours must be in consonance with the instruction. Like the instance I just gave. Instruction says discuss both sides of the argument, right? And give your own example. So your thesis background statement will conform to this instruction by saying, in this essay, I'll be writing to discuss the issue or arguments raised above, because that's what the instruction has compelled me to. But if
Sorry, so the example you gave is that you said the case for how you made it.
in this essay, I will be writing to vividly discuss the concerns or arguments raised above,
I'll be writing
to clearly or lucidly or vividly discuss the arguments or the concerns raised above. That is a thesis or background statement. All right. So now you need to understand that the thesis or background statement does not end with a full stop. It ends with a semicolon. So that you would continue with the stance immediately after the background statement. We are also considering capturing what we call preamble in your paragraph 1. I believe you know what preamble is. Preamble is more of opening up an idea of what the topical issue looks like before making a step into the direction he or she would go.
so after the semicolon,
Your stance comes in.
now proceed to stance.
Yes, please. Now, immediately after your stance, your period comes in, and end of your paragraph 1.
So the stance is talking about
Your stance could be your opinion, it could be your view, it could be your suggestion, It could be your merit or demerit. It could be your advantage or disadvantage, depending on what the question or instruction requests or stipulates. Now, after your paragraph 1, you would move straight to your paragraphs 2 and 3. Now, your paragraphs 2 and 3 take the same thread. They have the same approach. That's why in your paragraph 2 and 3, you have TS. TS means topic sentence. Then after your topic sentence, you work on the body paragraph. Okay, so for as far as IELTS essay writing is concerned, you get to discuss or deliberate on whatever point you have around or within your paragraphs 2 and 3. Now, with the example I gave about people preferring to travel by road and others going for air, if we are to work on that as a question, paragraph 2 will treat the faction that prefers to travel by road. This is where you discuss all whatever points you have to support them. Paragraph 3 will now talk about the point for those that prefer to travel by air. Then in paragraph 4, you wrap it up and give your own suggestion. Do you understand? So if we are to talk about those making preference on traveling by road, I would simply say that my topic sentence might be a first people's concern. Then paragraph 3 will discuss a contrary concern. That's the opposing faction. The essay, and you bring in your view. Of course, your view is something you have already established in your first paragraph, right? So you're bringing it down to your last paragraph. But when you're bringing it down, you're not copying it verbatim, word for word. No, you are meant to rephrase it. After you have concluded, by way of maybe summarizing what you have said in paragraphs, what you have discussed in paragraphs 2 and 3, right? Then you bring in your stance. Your stance is whatever opinion or view you must have written in your first paragraph. You are to bring it down to your final paragraph as part of your conclusion. Yes, in a paraphrased way. People prefer to travel by road because, okay, I'm not going to start my topic sentence by saying people prefer to travel. No. My topic sentence might be for adventurous benefits and education. Do you understand this?
So you're not expand on
So I'll now start talking about it. Traveling by road gives people a feel of adventure as they ply the highway and through residential areas. They tend to see different cultural exhibitions, ways of life of people, activities that go on that particular day while they are traveling. It also enlightens them and broadens their understanding of certain culture, because it is said that traveling is a way of education. Hence, those who prefer to travel by road tend to understand the roadmap of a particular landmass. They tend to have first-hand experience of cultural practices, especially if they are opportuned to be traveling on a day when certain happening. They might be opportune to see wedding gatherings. They might be opportune to see how people carry out farming activities. They might be opportune to see cultural activities and the likes. Those who have never stopped by the road to buy things or dashed into the restaurant may be privileged to, to eat culture and have a taste of it. Do you understand now? Now, it also allows people to interact on for a very long period, especially if the journey is a long one while on transit.
that could also make them to make
It also helps them to make friends. Do you understand now? You express all of these as your body paragraph.
friends. So now get so the topic sentence paragraph 2 it brought about
Exposure to adventure or
exposure to adventure.
and education. That's my topic sentence for paragraph 2. Then I begin to talk about it. Then you also bring in the fact that in countries where the standard of living is not high, in a country where quality life is not being enjoyed, over 89% of the citizens will prefer to travel by road because of the high expense of flying. Thank you. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So I'm going to quote 89% and I'm writing it in figure. I'm going to quote.
So this is another topic statement.
No, I'm still giving.
Topic sentence.
I'm still expand. Yes,
So
I'm.
number one is exposure to adventure
Yes,
and education.
yes.
Then number two now is due to economic reasons.
That's another point. But I'm bringing this using what? Sequencer. Remember? Furthermore, do you understand what's happening here now? So you are bringing another point in the same paragraph, but using a sequencer. This sequencer would indicate to the examiner that this is a totally different point, but still on the reason people prefer to travel by road. So when you are talking about this, you are referring to the economic situation of a particular territory or nation. Then you must quote data. You need to bring in data. Now, this data you are bringing in would cover name, would cover quantity. Oops. This data should cover quantity. This data should cover date. This data should cover location. Now, when you talk about name, it could be name of the country or name of the person that is being talked about or name of anything. You are to give the name. There will be no name in the question. Remember, IELTS is looking at your creativity, right? So you have to come up with a fact-like paragraph to support whatever path you are taking. So you have to create this information by yourself. Don't bother yourself whether it is true or not. Don't worry about that.
So use a sequencer to add another topic statement.
Yes.
Then at what point an instance, what is that? Okay, an example.
Yes.
Is that example you are thinking of like
Exactly.
that's an
So the example will quote a particular place, a particular person, a particular situation, and talk about number of persons involved. For instance, I just said over 89%, right? So you're mentioning this. Over 89% of people in maybe countries such as Nigeria, you are referring to well over 190 million people. You might choose to write this in figure, or you write 190 the million in word. Then you talk about dates of when this between 1990 to 2005, over 89% of people traveled by road, according to the record released by a particular agency that takes care of road movements called Federal Road Safety Corps. You must quote. And most people traveled from north to south. Some other, you might decide to split this by saying 25% of this traveled from north to south. This percent of this, you now distribute it. Then you bring in your example. If you look at this, you would notice that I didn't use the word example, right? I used instance, I used illustration. Why I didn't write instance is because IELTS says avoid repetitions very carefully. So when you want to bring in your example, avoid the use of the word e.g. Avoid this guy. Avoid the use of the word or expression for example. This is very common and informal. It's fair, it's manageable to say for instance. This can fly. But there are more advanced ways to bring in your example in an essay. So you can simply say, to further buttress my points, comma. Or you can say, to elucidate further. These are ways to launch your example. Now, if you want to use instance, you can simply say,
problem to elucidate.
one good instance supports my is. These are ways to bring in examples. IELTS says avoid the overly or commonly used expressions. So you launch the example and bring in these data. Then you go to the third paragraph. You bring a topic sentence. To meet up with appointments, for security reasons, and comfort. These three topics, I'm going to merge them. To meet up with appointments, for security reasons,
So that's the next paragraph.
yes,
Paragraph
and for comfort. Those are the three ideas put together will make up my topic sentence as regards why people prefer to travel by air, right? With appointments, for security reasons, and for comfort. Then I go to my body paragraph to discuss each of these three reasons. So meeting up with appointments, you're talking about the fact that traveling by road, there'll be a lot of hold up, potholes, and the likes, delays, breakdown, and all of that. And this would make you to spend over 8 hours or 12 hours in some cases to get to your destination. Whereas flying by air or traveling by air within a space of 50, 45 to 1 hour maximum, you've gotten to your destiny, and you can even have a return flight same day. Furthermore, or additionally, because of the high level of terrorism and insecurity activities going on the road, by way of having people being kidnapped, vehicles being burnt, um, robbery activities on the roads, a lot of persons prefer to travel by air, as there are no hold-ups on the road or armed robbery activities. On kidnapping on the air, right? As long as there is safe flight, there is no such mishap or experiences. Then lastly, there is more comfort when you travel by air. People don't press or um, suffocate others with lots of luggages and all that, right? The air company does not overload their cargoes, right? Exactly. Exactly. Or you see someone hanging around you or standing beside you in the name of being running out, practicing attachments as some. Exactly. Very nice, right? So you have you talk about this point in your paragraph 3. Then you drop an example, right? Drop an instance, illustrates what has happened over time when there is great experience of insurgency in countries such as blah blah blah. You mentioned a country. Talk about how people are now being kidnapped on a daily basis and ransoms are being demanded. And for those families that are not able to afford them, their lives are taken, right? So, and people also experience accidents on a daily basis, as such that cars collide and maybe vehicles or brakes fail and all of that, right? So, and then because traveling by road, most buses are being driven by just a driver, right? Unlike in the airplane, where you have co-pilot. In case this one, thank you. So in case this guy is tired, another pilot takes over, right? When there are turbulences or issues, then they will put heads together professionally and resolve the issue, and there'll be safe landing and all that. So you cite such example, then you go to your 4th paragraph. Now, the 4th paragraph, which is your conclusion, there are 2 templates of conclusion. So you can conclude your essay by beginning the paragraph using the word summarily. You can as well conclude your essay by using the word conclusively. You can as well conclude your essay by using the expression in light of the above. Now, these are different templates. you can apply or bring in to conclude your essay. Now let's look at how to apply them. If you choose to use summarily or conclusively, the approach is the same. If you choose to use any of these guys to start your fourth paragraph, the approach is the same. What do you need to do? Let's assume I have written my paragraphs 1, 2, and 3, and I want to conclude. If I choose to say or begin by saying or writing summarily or conclusively, what I'm expected to do is to give the synopsis of those topics I discussed in paragraphs 2 and 3 before I bring in my opinion. So to apply it, I would simply say or conclusive. A great number of persons prefer or enjoy traveling by road. It is the best option they have because of economic conditions. On the other hand, prefer because it gives them the privilege to informal education while they are traveling. Notwithstanding, some other persons, although because of a number of reasons such as insecurity, meeting up with appointments, and enjoying some level of comfort. I've just summarized all the topics I discussed. So after writing this, I would then say
Sorry, how did you summary again? More people just travel by road, not because
some other persons prefer to travel by road because they enjoy some level of adventure and also acquire some informal education en route. Notwithstanding, certain class of citizens or individuals who are considered to be above average choose to travel by air primarily because of a number of reasons, such as, then you list those reasons, ranging from insecurity, fast arrival,
sorry, they choose to travel by air due to
a number of reasons, such as insecurity, fast arrival, and a great level of comfort. Comma or full stop. Therefore, in my experiential opinion, professional opinion, or in my personal opinion, or in my candid opinion, whatever it is you use to begin your opinion, I strongly a larger number of people cannot afford traveling by air, which leads of having some unthinkable experiences as they fly. There is therefore the great need for the authorities. There is therefore the great need is to pass laws and bills that would mandate the military as well as the security agencies to make the roads. Thank you for the road users. And also, road construction should be a paramount project, which is another way of ensuring safety to avoid accidents. More so,
I guess this is now becoming like a recommendation.
thank you. More so, air tickets should be made moderate. Thank you. So that people can have the option of either traveling by road, knowing that it's safe, or traveling by air. These are opinions you can bring in or recommendations you can drop. Of course, remember these opinions are already written in your paragraph 1. So that's where you must have planned your essay beforehand.
So that stance, that opinion, that view,
Exactly.
That's recommendation.
Yes, it could be opinion, it could be view, it could be anything. But it has to be established in your essay question. Remember this, the imaginary question we are treating says discuss both sides of the argument and give your own opinion, right? So that's why we are giving an opinion right here.
So we didn't really elaborate on the stance in the first
Yes,
key one.
yes. So this is where it is.
Stance is your recommendation.
It could be your recommendation. It's not always recommendation. It could be your recommendation. It could be your view, opinion, suggestion, merit, demerit, whatever it is. You get a signal from the instruction.
So in that number 1, in that paragraph 1,
Mm-hmm.
we started with a paraphrase,
Mm-hmm.
which is to rephrase
The question
question
onto your answer sheet.
Then this is background.
You plan your essay and give a statement to confirm what you have planned to do in the essay.
Yeah, so example is essay. You make it
In this essay, I will be writing to whatever it is your points are all about.
then
Your stance, whatever it is you want to suggest or recommend or opine, you drop it, and that's the end of your paragraph 1. Is it clear? All right, so this is how the essay should look like. We have just taken the skeletal aspect or training of the essay.
I think if this formula is mastered, one can develop.
Definitely, and have a very nice delivery, right? So this is what we are going to work more on in our next meeting. We're going to break down this formula and know how best to apply them or apply